Hello and welcome to another episode of Gully Cricket to Bouncy Wicket podcast. I'm your host Srinivas.
Hi, this is Manoj.
We have a very special guest joining with us today. But before we begin, let's catch up on happenings in the cricket world this week in our power play segment. India and England played T20 series which was concluded yesterday and India won the series. We're going to talk about this match in detail. But before going there, let's look at some more news coming from other parts of the cricket world. So India women's team lost the 5-match ODI series against South Africa women by 1-4 and they have started playing 3-match T20I series yesterday and unfortunately India women lost the first T20I also.
And moving on, Bangladesh team is currently touring New Zealand to play 3 ODIs and 3 T20s, and the first ODI has been won by New Zealand comfortably.
After the test series, Zimbabwe and Afghanistan started playing 3 T20I matches and Afghanistan won the series comfortably with a margin of 3-0.
Finally, India legends and Sri Lanka legends have reached the finals of the Road Safety World Series T20 tournament, and the finals is going to be played on 21st of March. So please do not miss watching the finals. You may or may not see legends like those playing again.
That's all for the power play segment for this week. As informed earlier, today we are being joined by a special guest and we are excited. He is cricket Twitter's favorite person. He breathes, eat and sleep cricket. In less than 5 years, he has posted more than 250,000 tweets and he has a massive Twitter following army of about 50,000. All these days we have been seeing John's tweets, but today for the first time we are going to hear what John has to say. Like all of you, we are quite excited and without any further delay, let's welcome John to our. Welcome to the show, John. Thanks for joining with us today.
Yes, it's a pleasure to talk with you. But these followers are nothing. Everyone can have these Twitter followers if they have lots of time free or something like that.
That's a modest comment coming from you. But the way people respond to you is amazing, isn't it?
Yes, sometimes it can go either way. Some people may not digest something. It happens in both ways, but we need to just pick up the positive side, etc.
True. So yeah, let's move on to India versus England T20 series. So though India started the series slowly, India have won the series against a top quality England side, which is definitely going to boost Team India's morale going into T20 World Cup, especially this year. So John, what do you think are the positives for India's batting unit in this?
The biggest positive will be how India batted after power play. Usually India slows down after the power play whenever KL Rahul or Rohit Sharma or even Virat Kohli gives that great start. But this series we saw a different beast of Indian batting lineup, especially the IPL boys came in, the Suryakumar Yadav or Ishan Kishan. They showed how to bat in middle overs, take down spinners. We have seen how Adil Rashid was dominated by Suryakumar Yadav in the 5th T20 as well as in 4th T20. Well, it's a great boost for India moving forward into the T20 World Cup. And once Rishabh Pant gets that IPL mode like he did in 2018 and 2019, it will be more dangerous for any T20 side in the world to face India in India or even in any country. If Suryakumar Yadav or Ishan Kishan or Rishabh Pant gets that fair amount of runs and backing from the management, it will be difficult for every side in the world. And that's the one area India lacked a few months ago. We have seen India always slows down from 7 to 15 or 14 overs, and then they'll be going with a conservative approach, giving that cushion to Hardik Pandya to finish the game. But right now India had that flexibility in middle overs, who can go after the spin bowling and not that conservative approach, and it helps more Hardik Pandya or Ravindra Jadeja once he comes back. It will be allowing them to play more freely than before, not thinking about the wickets or etc. So it is one of the biggest positive sign we have seen in this England T20 series.
True. That's you have made a great points, John. Especially in the middle overs batting, where India was lacking depth all these years, and I think with the introduction of Sky and Ishan Kishan, they have brought a new flavor to the team. It's more like what we see England's batting, right? They have they have players to hit from top to bottom. So I think India has matched a similar approach, if you ask me. And coming to next point. You think Virat should open with Rohit while batting first and come as one down when batting second? Will that add more balance to the team?
These things, it's tough to tell that Virat wants to opening while batting first and come one down in chasing it. It won't be successful for long run something. Especially KL Rahul is less than 30 years of age, so he will be back soon or later because he's not that poor batsman. Or we have shown he has shown his class over the years, especially in IPL, even in T20 internationals. His rankings is in top 5 if I'm right, and he has good numbers, more than 145 strike rate around. So he has proven that he's a match winner. Even Rohit Sharma backed him in the post match presentation after the 50-20. So India is looking. Kohli said that he likes to open, but still I believe IPL will decide, and India has the T20 series only in September. So it's a long way to go. Even after IPL, there is a big gap for players who are in form or anything like that. So it's tough to tell Virat Kohli opens for the T20 World Cup or even batting first. It's no one can predict even Virat Kohli's words. We have seen how he has said that Ambati Rayudu will be our number 4 during some point of the
True,
time
true.
during leading to the 2019 World Cup. So everything changed one night. Then Vijay Shankar came in. Then
Yeah.
towards the World Cup, we have seen KL Rahul came in. So there was lots of juggles in the batting unit during that 2019 World Cup. So I hope that won't be happening. We have seen some positive signs from Virat Kohli also. We have been giving Shreyas Iyer a long run in ODIs for last 2 years at number 4. And if you look at T20s also, they are bringing in some great players, like giving lots of opportunity who has done well in IPL. So these are good positive signs. But I hope KL Rahul has a great IPL. He is not that bad player to miss out, or he needs to be in the side. Virat Kohli should continue as number 3. His numbers are also great in number 3. And if you look at Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli opening, means it brings that inexperience in middle order. There is Shreyas Iyer or Rishabh Pant or Ishan Kishan or Surya Kumar Yadav. These are not experienced guys in international cricket. And when it comes to a knockout stage like semi-finals or finals, it might affect Indian team as well. So Virat Kohli batting at number 3 will be better for the long run. But it's all up to his decision. But I hope IPL will decide that factor. If KL Rahul has a great IPL, I don't think we can't put him in the bench or anything. And India just have 2 more series, so we need to make quick decisions. And as I said earlier, IPL will be the deciding factor for that.
Yeah, true. You have articulated it very beautifully, and KL Rahul is right. Like you have mentioned, is too good a talent to miss out. And Manoj, my next question is to you. So Surya Kumar Yadav made his debut in second T20I. Unfortunately, he could not get a chance to bat and dropped in third T20I. Again, came back in fourth and fifth T20, and he showed why he is most sought after, one down batsman. So, what are your thoughts on Surya Kumar Yadav, Manoj?
Surya Kumar Yadav is an amazing player. We have seen that in the IPL over the years. Has been a solid player in the middle order for Mumbai Indians, and also you've seen him perform in the recently concluded Vijay Hazare Trophy also. So he was coming into the T20 series with a great form. So unfortunately, he didn't get to bat in his debut match, but he proved his class and caliber, right, in the last 2 games. So I think he's a great prospect for India, especially in the shorter format. So all in all, amazing player, and yeah, a bright prospect for India,
True.
I
And
would say.
speaking of Surya Kumar Yadav, we should make a mention of Ishan Kishan, of course. So he had an amazing debut, right? He's an young person who he can do wicket keeping job also. His ability, I think we should appreciate his ability to clear the ground. Amazing. After Yuvraj Singh, probably I like him more than anyone else in the six hitting ability. Let's hope Surya Kumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan make good runs in IPL also and continue their form to T20 World Cup also. So, John, moving on to India's bowling, my next question is to you. So, what are your thoughts on Yuzvendra Chahal? Now, if you see his record in last 20 T20 matches, he took 18 wickets of the last 21 matches. His economy is 9 runs and he is averaging at 40. So, do you think India should continue to him or we should look for other bowlers? Or if Jadeja comes, do you think the whole scenario will changes? What do you think about Chahal now?
I think the same issue with Chahal as well. When we compare with KL Rahul, UC Chahal had a great IPL last season in UAE, and I don't think we need to look at much on these international stats. We don't play T20 international regularly. If you look at the last T20 series was in against Australia, then way back in March something. So these T20 international records don't come regularly. Might play one match, might play two match. Right now only we have started playing three matches etc. in a series. His form might be a concern, but still I would back him. His IPL record is great. Even in last season, if you look at what happened with RCB, he was the go-to bowler. Whenever Virat Kohli needs a wicket, he will call UC Chahal and he brings that wicket. So you need that continuity factor that gives from only IPL. But in international cricket, you don't have that continuity factor. That might be affecting UC Chahal as a bowler in T20 internationals. But still, I would back him as the India's the best bowler in T20 in spin department. And if you look at other options, Rahul Chahar has done well in this series. In the first match he played, and then there is Ravi Ashwin. I hope Ravi Ashwin gets a call soon. Especially you can have Ravi Ashwin and Washington Sundar in the side. Both plays completely different roles. And if you look at the opposition teams, like West Indies and England are the favorites other than India. These three are the top sides in the world in T20 internationals. And if you look at West Indies and England, they have tons of left-handers in top 7, and Ashwin will be a big factor, deciding factor in any stage during the World Cup. So I hope Ashwin gets a call after his this IPL. Especially he had a dream run in 2018, 2019, 2020 for Punjab and one season for Delhi Capitals. Coming to UC Chahal, as I said earlier, I would back him till the World Cup. As I said, he will be going to have a great IPL anyway. With 14 games, he will come good for RCB. So I don't look at these numbers much, as his run has been poor, but still he is a good player, as same as KL Rahul, which will come good at any stage in this year before the World Cup.
True, John. Always Chahal is a match-winning bowler, and India is going to have a problem with plenty. So let's hope India will get the combination right in terms of bowling going to T20 World Cup. So Manoj, my next question is to you. At least in the beginning of the series, there was always complaint on Indian batting unit that they are not as aggressive as England's top 6. And with introduction of Ishan and Suryakumar Yadav into team, so do you think India has matched England's aggressiveness? What do you think about India's batting unit as a whole?
If you look at the top 6 that we have, barring Ishan Kishan and Suryakumar Yadav, we already have many explosive players. Rohit, Pant, Shreyas, they can destroy the opposition on their day. So I don't think we need any more aggressiveness. But then you have to bat with a lot of attitude. I mean, it's just that now KL Rahul and Dhawan are not in the best of forms. But yeah, if you look at Kohli, he brings that balance to the side with his controlled aggression, and with good bench strength like Ishan Kishan and Suryakumar Yadav, I think we've covered it. So yeah, I would say we do have a very good batting lineup which can beat any team on a given day.
Yeah, true, Manoj. I think India has showed that going forward into the T20 series, right? The way they have batted in the 4th and 5th T20s. And John, my next question is to you. So there is a huge difference in Rishabh Pant's T20I and IPL strike rate. So do you think is it a point to worry, or do you think he's just going to make up going forward?
I think he'll be making up looking in the future, because if you look at Rishabh Pant's career, the long run factor is a biggest issue for Indian cricket right now. You need to give a player lots of opportunity. He has the talent. We have seen how well Rishabh Pant played in IPL, and he was in and out of the side. The way he was dropped in 2000, early 2020, if you remember, he had a good series against West Indies. Then come to Australia series, he got injured and he was suddenly dropped because KL Rahul performed really well at number 5, and suddenly Rishabh Pant came to side and he made a big mark for every single match till the England Test series. So he has the talent if you back him, and because people used to complain about his keeping, etc. We have seen how well he kept for India in last few series. People need to understand that if you had that confidence in batting, it will also come into the keeping. We have seen that case with Rishabh Pant in last few months. So I hope Rishabh Pant comes good in T20 international as well. As I said earlier, T20 international numbers, we don't play much T20 international continuously. That's the one issue, and we may rush few players in and out. We used to rotate as well because people don't used to take these numbers as a big talking point in T20 international, because everyone used to prefer ODIs and test to play more, and if it's not a World Cup year. And Rishabh Pant hasn't got that long run to make an impact. If you have seen this England T20 series, he had his moments. The way he played against Adil Rashid shown that his importance in middle overs against spinners. And coming to the World Cup in India, he'll be one of the deciding factors along with Hardik and Suryakumar Yadav in the middle overs. These three guys can take down any spinners in the world, and it will give that headaches to opposition captains. So I really hope they will continue this Rishabh Pant backing. I was really happy to see the way Kohli backed Rishabh Pant even after not getting that big scores or a eye-catching score for a team management or captain. But I was really happy the way, especially they didn't win with Ishan Kishan as keeper as well. Even in, I don't know whether Ishan Kishan has recovered from injury, but still it was really good sign to give that all 5 T20 international to Rishabh Pant and saying he is our number one keeper. We should have done this earlier, but he was down in confidence, etc. That was one of the factors, but still the progress is really good, and IPL will give that confidence as well. Last IPL he didn't had that great moments in last IPL except that final, and he is a player who comes really good when chips are down or when pressure situation arises. We have seen couple of times the way he performed in IPL knockouts, or especially when the Indian Test team is under pressure, he used to bat with the tailenders. Even in 2019 World Cup semi-final, he scored around 30 runs, and when India was almost down and out, people just say that one shot again Mitchell Santner, but people don't see how well he batted before that. So he used to come and do well in these kind of situations. Just need to give a long run. He's just 23 and he has done wonders. He has scored hundreds in England. He has scored hundreds in match winning efforts in T20s. We have seen his 50 against West Indies, etc. So IPL is one of the best players in last few years. He has scored more than 10, 12 or 15 years of cricket left. So we need to just back his talent. We have lots of matches left. IPL 14 matches will be there, then two T20 series, so there will be around 6 or 8 T20 matches, so around 20 matches left before the T20 World Cup. So he will gain his confidence match by match.
Yeah, thank you, John. I second your thought on Rishabh Pant. He is a confidence player, and only thing that is required to Rishabh Pant right now is backing from team. Hopefully, he'll get from Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli. So moving on to India's bowling again, Manoj, what are your thoughts on Bhuvneshwar Kumar? He seemed a little rusty when he started in the first T20I, and after that there is no looking back. So what are your thoughts on Bhuvneshwar Kumar?
It's understandable that he's coming back after a long break. Yes, he did look rusty in the first match, but then after the first 20, he really looked in his element. He's one of those street smart sort of bowlers, and perhaps one of our best death bowlers, if I could say that, for India. He can swing the ball both ways. In the first 5 overs, 5-6 overs, he can give you that crucial wicket, and he can come back in the middle overs. He's a bowler who who the captain can really bank on for that important wicket when the team needs it. You can also see that in the last ODI where he came back in the 12th or 30th over and got the wicket of Josh Butler. That was the turning point for me. So yeah, Bhuvi is someone who really cannot be replaced in the T20.
Sure, I think along with Bimrah, who is going to be a brute force to stop these two guys. And moving on, as a team overall, John, do you think India has done enough experiments in this series going into World Cup year, or do you think they would have done more experiments? What do you think about giving chances?
I think they have done more than everyone thought of because no one think they will be giving Suryakumar Yadav or Ishan Kishan an opportunity in the second game itself. Everyone thought if after winning the series they might give 1 or 2 games, but suddenly they gave that cap to Suryakumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan in the second T20 itself. So that makes a change. I would have liked to see Varun Chakravarti, but his fitness had issues. Other than that, I don't see any other player right now breaking into the side. We have seen Rishabh Pant played 5 matches, or KL Rahul played 4 matches. They rotated with Rohit Sharma. Shikhar Dhawan got 1 opportunity. So they have given guys opportunity, especially the way they given the opportunity to youngsters or who were making a mark, like Rishabh Pant for 5 matches, or Ishan Kishan they give 2 matches, but
And
suddenly
Rahul
he got
Chahar also,
injured.
right?
Yes, so they have given that opportunity to everyone who has done well in last IPL. Varun Chakravarti, I was really looking forward to see him, but he had his fitness issues, and we can't blame him as well. He was engineer a few years ago, and coming to fitness, yo-yo test or these things, it won't be easy for him also. Other than that, we India had given that opportunity to everyone. Even in bowling unit also, Rahul Chahar, Australia series in 2019 something, or West Indies series in 2019, and he got the opportunity right now, and it was really pleasing to see Rahul Chahar how he went his proceedings in this series. Then I would have liked to see Ravi Ashwin, but Kohli has already told Washington Sundar is there, so it will be tough for Ashwin to break into the Indian side. But still, I would have both of them, especially a World Cup in India. You can have players, especially in these COVID times. You can have extra players. Even New Zealand has told they'll be bringing 18 players for the World Cup. So Ashwin can break into that 80-member squad or 90-member squad. So 2 guys I would like to see is Ravi Ashwin and Varun Chakravarti in future series or somewhere around before the World Cup.
True, John. I think it's very unfortunate for Varun Chakravarti to miss out. I think this is second time he is missing out, right? First time he was supposed to travel to Australia. He missed out due to an injury that time. Now he is missing out due to fitness. So let's hope he'll get back into the team scheme of things very quickly. And like you mentioned, Ashwin is also an intelligent bowler. We can't miss him. Let's hope their IPL performances will bring them closer to the team again. Manoj, what do you think about India's batting approach after losing the toss? So in this series, India have lost the toss 4 times and they have won 2 times batting first. So do you think this will give them a good confidence? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, irrespective of whether one wins toss or lose toss, you have to do well at the end of the day. I think we've scored, we put decent number of runs on the board in the fourth T20 and also in the fifth one. You can attribute that success, batting success, to the youngsters. Actually, they rose to the occasion. Even though the opening didn't go well in the fourth T20, the middle order really took up that responsibility. They scored the bulk of runs. Often, what happens is when the opening doesn't do well, the middle order is under pressure and you tend to lose wickets. And that did happen in the fourth T20. And in the fifth one, Rohit and Kohli, they were, all guns blazing and everything worked out. So I think one shouldn't really worry about toss and do well. That's
Yeah,
my
true,
feeling.
Manoj. Especially if you are participating in the World Cup and you want to win the World Cup, definitely we cannot depend on toss. India should learn winning the matches irrespective of the toss result. And I think they have demonstrated this in the series. It will give them big boost going into it. John, what are your thoughts on England's performance as a whole in this series? They have started as dominant team. They won the first T20A, or in fact, out of the first 3 T20As, they won the first 2. So, what are your thoughts on England's team?
England is one of the favorites leading to the T20 World Cup. They have a settled core. I was a little surprised they didn't give any opportunity to Moeen Ali, especially you need a second spinner in India for World Cups. Especially you need that variation. Adil Rashid is a leg spinner, so you need an off spinner, and Moeen Ali can bat as well, even in middle overs. So it was little bit surprising that they didn't give any opportunity to Moeen Ali in the T20 series. Especially it was a 5-match series. Other than that, they have a settled unit. Morgan has already told Josh Butler will be opening in the World Cup. But I would like to see Ben Stokes as early as possible, because T20 finishing is one of the toughest skills. You don't have that much finishers in the world. Even there will be one Hardik Pandya, there is one Russell, then there is a few other guys. Even Australia are struggling to find a finisher. So it's not an easy art to pick up. So Ewan Morgan has done well as a finisher for KKR last season. So I thought Morgan should have taken that opportunity in this series to be a finisher, especially the way he played for KKR last season. And I would like to see Ben Stokes up the order, especially in Rajasthan Royals. He was opening and he has done well as a T20 opener. One of his T20 numbers, T20 international or T20 IPL numbers are not very good if he is not opening. And that was the one reason why he was promoted to the opener, and he scored a terrific 100 in one of the matches as well in last season, and we will see more this season. So one of the things I would like to see is Ben Stokes up the order. Then playing Moeen Ali. I don't know why Morgan didn't give any opportunity to Moeen Ali. Then their other side is almost settled. Their bowling unit, Jofra Archer, Mark Wood, then Sam Curran or Moeen Ali, then Adil Rashid will be there, then Chris Jordan. So they have a very settled unit, and we have seen how they didn't make much changes. So they need to come with some different plans, especially looking Ben Stokes up the order, then playing Moeen Ali, then maybe Liam Livingstone or Sam Billings as a finisher. Sam Billings and Livingstone will be playing in IPL, but they may not get chances. There are slight possibilities for Billings to have a few games for Delhi Capitals. For Livingstone, it will be tough for getting a place in Rajasthan Royals unless someone gets injured. So if Billings can get that art of finishing, especially the way he has played in ODIs in last season in England summer, he was really good, and he has shown glimpses of finishing even in IPL also. In 2018, the way he finished that match for Chennai Super Kings against Kolkata Knight Riders, where he scored around 50 plus. So he has shown that glimpses somewhere around, but he needs consistency and long run. So looking to the IPL, Morgan or team management will be focusing on these two aspects. How Billings will be going through his phase with Delhi Capitals. I don't know. I don't think he'll be getting that opportunity to offer something for Delhi Capitals. I think he'll be, even if he plays, it will be at number 5 or number 6. So it will be a great opportunity for Billings. I hope he will be getting some opportunity. It will be between Sam Billings versus Shimmer or Hetmeyer versus Steve Smith. So maybe a few matches, and if he can do well, so he can make a call to Morgan to get an opportunity in T20s. And if Sam Billings can do well as a finisher, then Morgan can go up. So these are some possibilities. Other than that, in England, squad is settled. There will be Josh Butler, Morgan, then Chris Jordan, Jofra Archer, Rashid, Mark Wood, etc. These guys are almost settled, and that's the one reason why Morgan just went with the almost same 11. Other than Mark Wood getting injured, they went with that same unit through the series.
I'm completely with you on England missing the trick of using Moeen Ali in at least 1 or 2 matches out of the 5 at least. Manoj, what do you think about David Malan, the world number one so-called T20 batsman?
So there were a lot of expectations on him coming into the series. Everyone were looking forward to see him bat. He had a very quiet series, if I can call it that. I mean, he got the starts but couldn't convert, and his strike rate was only 100 and thereabouts. But it was only in the last T20 that he really showed what he can do. He really stole the show. Though on the other end, Jos Buttler was going all guns blazing. He was quietly playing his shots. What was impressive was his shot selection. All of them, or most of the shots, were proper cricketing shots, and there was no slogging or cross bat shots whatsoever. He was playing the cover drive, the lofted shots, so very pleasing to the eye. No wonder he's the best T20 player, and he can soon come back to the form.
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you, John, for sharing your thoughts on the T20 series. And I'm really happy that India has won the series, and winning against a quality side like England is always a boost. And let's hope they'll continue this form and win the T20 World Cup as well this year. And let's move on to our next segment, Hero of the Week.
So the hero of this week for us has to be none other than Virat Kohli. He was a consistent performer in this T20 series. He was also the man of the series for this T20 series. It really shows the class and commitment that he has across all formats. He scored 350s in the 5 games of the series, so it has to be Virat Kohli.
Yeah, Manoj, true. Virat Kohli, like before coming into the series, there were a lot of talks saying, Virat can't play T20Is, or he's not a good enough player, or he's out of form, he should be rested. There is a lot of talk. I'm sure Virat Kohli in his own style has silenced all his critics, and he's not out for 3 times. India in majority of matches batted first, so the way he played the batting in the first innings and one match where he anchored India to win in the second T20, it's amazing. So definitely the deserving hero of the week, none other than Virat Kohli. That's all for the series, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us. Please do rate and comment us on Apple Podcasts if you are using, and you can follow us and tweet us at @GCBW Podcast in Twitter and Facebook also. Thank you for tuning in again. Thank you, John. Thank you for joining with us.
Thanks a lot.